Quite fine. It's obvious what he thinks about this.
Pat Toomey.
It may not be so.
Now, well, we're inviting Joe Sestak on as well. Hopefully he'll come on tomorrow. Pat, so tell us, what do you think about this dust-up at the White House?
Well, I've said for several days now, Joe ought to just be more forthcoming. He ought to tell us what happened and get this behind us. I actually think I'm going to beat Joe Sestak totally on the basis of our policy differences.
Right.
And that's what I'd like to be talking about, but we've got this huge distraction going on. And we ought to clarify it.
Why won't he just come out and say it?
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me.
But I thought he said, hey, I'm an Navy guy, I'm forthright, I'm going to tell you everything, I'm accountable.
Right, and Joe's campaign message is that he puts principle ahead of his party. Well, it looks like somebody in his party did something pretty wrong. He ought to just explain what he knows and let us move on.
And if he did something wrong, if he misspoke and misplaced his words,
I have to imagine you have some real color on what's going on here. I mean, this guy is on your other side, so you've probably spent the past week trying to figure out what really happened. Do you have anything more for us?
Absolutely not. I don't know. I certainly wasn't in the room or on the phone when this conversation occurred, so I don't know anything more than you do.
Well, as far as the color goes, people around the table have told us off the record that Rahm Emanuel offered him a job.
I know that.
Well, that's pretty colorful, dude. What do you want?
What Pat is saying is this just fell into his lap.
Is this a question of character for Joe Sestak if he won't come forward and tell the truth about a possible illegal bribe?
I think it's a problem. I think it is a problem because we know there's a very straightforward criminal statute that says you can't offer a federal job in return for political favor, and it looks like that's what Joe is suggesting happened.
Anybody ever offer you a job?
I've been offered jobs, but nothing to do with politics.
But people say, though, this goes on all the time.
You hear that.
Let it go.
It's interesting. I challenged Arlen Specter in 2004 in a Republican primary, and the entire Republican establishment was against me, didn't want me in the race. Nobody offered me a job. There was never any discussion of hinting around about it even.
Let's talk about policies. Why are you better than Joe Sestak for the people of Pennsylvania?
Well, I think most people in Pennsylvania believe that the federal government has veered too far to the left here. A huge expansion in the size of government, the cost of government spending, serial bailouts, nationalizing whole industries, government control of the economy in ways as the energy sector, healthcare. It's just too much.
Do you disagree with
Newt
Gingrich? Do you disagree with Newt Gingrich, who said that we're endangering our way of life, that we're moving towards Nazis and Soviet-style leadership? Was that hyperbolic?
That sounds hyperbolic to me, but I will say that we are creating an unsustainable level of debt.
Is that reckless speech?
I haven't seen the comments, Joe. That doesn't sound...
Is it reckless speech for Glenn Beck to call President Obama a racist?
Yeah, I don't share that view about President Obama. I think he's mistaken on policy, but I wouldn't call him a racist.
Do you condemn that type of talk, though? Don't you think Republicans should condemn that type of talk, comparing the president to Hitler or Stalin?
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but if someone is making that comparison, I think it's ridiculous.
What about we just have to check off the list here, baby. Do you support the Civil Rights Act of 1965?
Yes, I do. I always have.
Do you support Americans' Disability Act?
Yes, I do, and I always have.
Okay, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Do you support it?
I support it. I think we need to fix them.
Are we going to have to raise? Of course, we're going to have to raise the age of Social Security. Everybody knows that. I'm just going to ask you, as a politician running in the heat of a political battle, will you now say that for people 55 and younger, we've got to raise Social Security retirement age from 65 to, say, 70?
I've got a whole chapter in my book where I specifically lay out how I think we should reform Social Security, and I'd like to see us give young workers the option to accumulate savings as a transition.
How about raising that age from 65 to 70?
Depending on what you do with the benefits as a trade-off versus accumulated savings.
What's the hard choice? What's the cut? What's the tough love that you'd have to give to make this deficit reduce and to control our spending? Yeah. Tell me what the tough choice would be, the bad medicine that people would have to swallow.
Well,
I don't want to hear the good stuff.
Yeah. We've got to stop the subsidies that we have. We have huge corporate welfare programs, huge agricultural subsidies that we can't afford. We can't keep expanding the entitlements. I mean, we have two huge entitlements. Haven't figured out how to pay for them, and we just created another one. And we expanded eligibility for Medicaid. All of that stuff sounds good, but it's totally on...
Were you in Congress in 2004?
I was, yeah.
Did you vote for the Medicare drug prescription plan?
I voted against it.
God bless you,
I thought it
sir.
was unaffordable.
The George Bush plan, $7 trillion. Was that about as reckless a thing as we could have done fiscally?
I thought it was a big mistake, and we shouldn't have done it.
Mike, final question.
What program, give me one or two programs you'd like to go in and cut right now in terms of spending?
Well, I've said, how about we rescind the unspent portion of the stimulus bill? I mean, this thing is huge transfers to other levels of government, mostly state governments. It does not generate the kind of job growth that they said it would. I'd say just rescind that.
How much money is that?
Oh, that's hundreds of billions of dollars.
Really?
Only 40% of it's actually.
You know who agrees with him? Dr. Jeffrey Sachs.
Yeah.
Obama supporter. Yeah. Boy, he's amazing on the deficit and the debt, Jeffrey Sachs.
We're on an unsustainable track right now.
How long till we're greased if we keep spending?
It's hard to say. There's reasonable projections. By 2020, we're at 100% GDP. Our debt.
Our debt.
Greece is what, 115%?
Social Security means testing?
I think that should be on the table in the context of comprehensive reform.
Yeah.
All right, Pat Toomey, thank you very much.
Jesus,
nice to have you
Thanks for
back
having
on the show. Good to have you.
Pat, come back, and we'll
right.
have you back here when we don't talk about Joe Sestak's bribes.
Oh, no, I think he's good. I think he liked it.
Good talking to you.
Thanks for
Hey, let's get Joe on tomorrow.
Let's try. New developments.